Hey guys, today I have for you a Thanksgiving Friendsgiving get ready with me. So this is not the formal family Thanksgiving, but just hanging out with my friends. And it was awesome, for the record. So I'm starting out with a little bit of foundation primer, and then I'm actually doing the popularly known as the Wayne Goss method. I cannot speak today, where you put on your powder before your foundation, and it also helps fill in some of your pores and makes your foundation last longer. I actually really like it. It's been working very well for me. And I'm using this little flat-topped brush from Sonia Kashuk for my foundation, which I've never used before. Honestly, the only reason I used it was because every other one of my brushes was dirty. Literally every single one of my foundation brushes. It was ridiculous. But I really liked it. I was a fan. And now concealer, just gonna blend that in with my little tiny beauty blender sponge. I love this little tiny thing. It's so cute. Moving on to my eyes, I'm going to start with a Shadow Insurance primer on my eyes and then go on to my brows. This is, of course, the Anastasia Dipbrow in Taupe because it's my favorite. So here's a sped up version of me doing my entire brow in case you were curious what that looks like for the whole thing. And then, of course, I went over it with a brow gel. This is the Urban Decay Brow Tamer, I believe it's called. And yeah, as I've said before, it's a little dark for me, but it's not so bad when it's over the right shade of other brow product. So it kind of works out. Going back over my concealer with a blender to make sure that there are no creases so that when I set it with the Secret Brightening powder, it doesn't set with creases. So yeah, I figured it was important to go over that again, but I wanted to give it a second before I set it just to make sure that it had fully melted into my skin. Now starting on the eyeshadow, and I'm using the Faced Chocolate Bar Palette, which I really, really love. And I'm starting with just a neutral matte skin tone shade all over the eyelid, which is a pretty normal step for me. And then on a fluffy blending brush, I'm taking this matte, warm-toned, kind of mid-brown shade through the crease as a transition color, because what I'm about to use as a shadow is not a good transition color. So this is to help blend it out later. And the color I'm using is the Kat Von D Metal Crust eyeshadow in Raw Power, which is the most beautiful shimmery cranberry shade. I freaking love this color, but I'm gonna be real with you, I had some real fallout after this. So I feel like when I just use it on a big fluffy brush and I'm blending it in softly, it's not too bad, but when I'm trying to pack it on like this and really get the color payoff, it was not super adhering to my skin. So I would suggest that if you're going to do this look, flip it around and do the eyes first and then finish your skin. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. But I'm placing this in a halo placement, so I put it on the outside part of my eyelid and then in the inner corner of my eyelid, and now I'm blending it through the crease and connecting those two areas, leaving the ball of my eyelid blank so that I can put something else there in just 1 minute. But first I'm going to pack on even more of that color because when you blend it, you lose a lot of the opacity. So I really wanted to make sure that it was super cranberry out there. Now for that lighter shade in the center, I'm going in with the Kat Von D Metal Crush eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Thrasher, the kind of antique-y gold one. And I'm just patting that on with my finger because that's really the fastest way to get a lot of color payoff. So I'm tapping that in all the way across that empty part, and then I'm going to go back in and kind of blend it out with a brush just to make sure that all of those colors are really well blended together. This is when I noticed that I had a ridiculous amount of fallout, so I'm trying to get rid of at least a little bit of it, and I got really kind of mad about it, but you can't really tell here that it's bad, so that's nice at least. Now I'm taking a little bit of the Metal Crush eyeshadow in Thunderstruck, which is the white one with just a little bit of gold in it, because I really wanted that center shade to be a lot brighter than the outside. I really wanted those eyes to pop and be as round looking as they could. This is like the opposite of the traditional cat eye shape, which really elongates your eyes. This really makes them look very round and kind of like that traditional bedroom eye shape. Now I'm going in with the Kat Von D Trooper is the black one. This is a tattoo liner in the brown shade. I think it's Mad Max. And I'm not doing a big winged shape, again, because I'm not doing that cat eye shape with the eyeshadow. I'm doing a rounder shape. So I'm keeping this eyeliner shape more just straight across and maybe a little bit thicker toward the edge, but not very much, and definitely not pulling it out really past my eye, just so that everything stays very, very round and complementary. Now going in with the Stilly Style You Glow Girl duo, I freaking, oh my god, I love this, you guys, I love it. It's like my favorite. This contour shade isn't too warm and it isn't too cool, and this is one of their other duos. This is just a more rosy blush, and I don't really have very many matte rosy blushes, and I really like how this looks with the cranberry. It's pretty sheer, so you have to build it up, but honestly, I like that about blushes because I tend to be a little heavier handed, so this one works pretty well for me. But going back to You Glow Girl, the highlight is also incredible. Look at this. Just look at it. It's so pretty. Everything about it is just like my favorite thing. Will you just try it? Can you tell how speechless I am? It's so pretty, you guys. Like, seriously, so pretty. Anyway, moving on. I'll stop fangirling. This is the typical moment where I curl my eyelashes, not eyebrows. What am I talking about? Which means I'm about to put on mascara. Yeah, so this is the Dior show, and I think they just reformulated this, but this is the older formula, and the brush is giant. Still not sure how I feel about it, but I actually don't think I hate it, which kind of surprises me. I'm going to be real with you, but I think I'm kind of enjoying using it. Now for lips, this is the L'Oreal Le Matte in She's So Matte, which is pretty much exactly the same shade as my lips when they have nothing on them at all, and by this point they have some foundation and powder on them, so you can't really tell that. But I went with this color both because it matches my eyes really well, but also because this way, when I was eating, I didn't have to worry about whether or not it was wearing off, because when it wears off, you can't tell. It's literally the same color. So I am a big fan of Your Lips But Better colors when you're going to be eating around a lot of people, just so it's one less thing you have to worry about. Then I'm going over all of this whole face with the NYX setting spray, the Dewy Skin Finish one, just to make sure that everything looks like it's all one happy, cohesive family, not a big powdery mess. So anyway, that is what my makeup looks like. This is not what I wore though, so let me show you actually. I wore a Harry and the Potter shirt because, you guys, one of the Harry and the Potters lives in my town, and I bought this from him. Oh, I had to go get the pie. But yeah, the Harry and the Potters live here, and it's awesome. So my husband and I wore matching shirts, and it was great. It was a really good time. I love Thanksgiving and family, and I hope yours was great, and I'll see you soon. Bye!